much trouble?
There won't be any trouble if you ride on.
Ride on? I'm going into the hills for the winter. Where am I going to get the food for my men?
Hire a grow it.
Or maybe even work for it.
16 of the best movies of 1960. Today I thought I'd take a look at a random year and show you some of the best, most successful movies of 1960. Westerns and non-westerns. A snapshot in time. Rated on IMDB. Some you will know, some not so much. Ranked according to IMDB. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel as well. I appreciate it. Really. Let's get into it. Cimarron, 6.4. Directors Anthony Mann and Charles Walters. The Oklahoma land run of April 1889 sets the stage for an epic saga of a frontier adventure. His wife and family and their friends. Cimarron was the first of three epics, along with El Cid and the Fall of the Roman Empire, that Mann directed. Despite high production costs and an experienced cast of Western veterans, stage actors and future stars, the film was released with little fanfare. Stars Glenn Ford, Maria Schell, and Ann Baxter. The Unforgiven, 6.6. Director John Huston. The neighbours of a frontier family turn on them when it is suspected that their adopted daughter was stolen from a local Kiowa tribe. Uncommonly for its time, the film spotlights the issue of racism in the Old West against Native Americans and people who were believed to have Native American blood. The film is also known for the problems that occurred during production. Stars Burt Lancaster, Audrey Hepburn, and Audie Murphy. The Alamo, 6.8. Director John Wayne. In 1836, a small band of soldiers sacrificed their lives in hopeless combat against a massive army in order to prevent a tyrant from smashing the new Republic of Texas. John Wayne formed a close friendship with Lawrence Harvey during filming. According to Michael Munn's 2003 biography, John Wayne, the man behind the myth, Wayne said Harvey should have received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor instead of Chill Wills. Stars John Wayne, Richard Widmark, and Lawrence Harvey.
We leave at once. If this order is not followed with dispatch, there will be no quarter given.
I hate to say anything good about that long-winded jackanapes, but he does know the short way to start a war.
The Alamo, filling the giant theater screen with spectacular adventure, filmed on a scale unequaled in motion picture history, recreating the 13 glorious...
The Sundowners, 7.1. Director Fred Zinnemann. In Australia's outback during the early 20th century, the impoverished Carmody family lives a nomadic life out of their wagon, but the mum and son want to settle, while the dad is against it. At the 33rd Academy Awards, it was in the running for Best Picture, and Carr was nominated for Best Actress in a leading role, Johns for Best Actress in a supporting role, Zinnemann for Best Director, and Lennart for Best Writing. Screenplay based on material from another medium, with no Academy wins. Stars Deborah Kerr, Robert Mitchum, and Peter Ustinov.
You get rid of that silly flaming hat.
Let me tell you about this silly flaming hat, my good man.
And don't call me that. I'm not your good man.
What do you prefer, Bob?
Oh, Lou, those Duke's daughters must miss you.
Oh, the Duke's daughters. They haven't heard.
To stay, Mum, and I think you ought to stay too.
Don't ever ask me to choose between you and your dad, because I'll choose him every time.
Fire! Better get a move on quick. There's a river about 2 miles on. You get the other side of that, you'll be all right.
Village of the Damned, 7.3. Director Wolf Riller. In the English village of Midwich, the blonde-haired, glowing-eyed children of uncertain paternity proved to have frightening powers. A sequel, Children of the Damned, 1964, followed, as did a remake, also called Village of the Damned, 1995. Stars George Sanders, Barbara Shelley, and Martin Stevens.
Are you aware of life on another planet? Why are you so nervous, Will?
Today, their control reaches out into space. Tomorrow, will it girdle the globe?
There's nothing you can do to stop us. Leave us alone.
Sergeant Rutledge, 7.4. Director John Ford. Respected black cavalry sergeant Brax Rutledge stands court-martial for raping and killing a white woman and murdering her father, his superior officer. In 2017, film critic Richard Brody observed that the greatest American political filmmaker, John Ford, relentlessly dramatized in his westerns the mental and historical distortions arising from the country's violent origins, including its legacy of racism, which he confronted throughout his career, nowhere more radically than in Sergeant Rutledge. Stars Jeffrey Hunter, Woody Strode, and Constance Towers. Home from the Hill, 7.4. Director Vincente Milleni. Dramatic story of the influential Honeycutt family set in Texas during the late 1950s. The screenplay was adapted from the 1958 novel Home from the Hill by William Humphrey. The film was entered into the 1960 Cannes Film Festival. The title is from the last line of Robert Louis Stevenson's short poem Requiem. Stars Robert Mitchum, Eleanor Parker, and George Peppard.
The feminine touch, Ray.
Yeah. I hear tell it does wonders for growing boys.
You ought to try it yourself, Ray.
The best there is, and if you were any kind of a man, you'd be proud of him and love him.
His mother was a tramp, a sand-hill tacky, having her child by the edge of a ditch.
Wild River, 7.5. Director Elia Kazan. A TVA bureaucrat comes to the river to do what none of his predecessors have been able to do: evict a stubborn octogenarian from her island before the rising waters engulf her. Lee Remick picked out 2 local Charleston kids to play her children. She chose the little girl because she looked like Lee at age 7. She chose the little boy because he loved hugging and kissing Lee. Stars Montgomery Clift, Lee Remick, and Joe Van Fleet. The Time Machine, 7.5. Director George Pal. A man's vision of a utopian society is disillusioned when travelling forward into time reveals a dark and dangerous society. The story is set in Victorian England and follows an inventor who constructs a machine that enables him to travel into the distant future. Once there, he discovers that mankind's descendants have divided into two species, the passive, childlike, and vegetarian Eloi, and the underground-dwelling Morlocks, who feed on the Eloi. Stars Rod Taylor, Alan Young, and Yvette Mimieux.
And the Eloi, the tranquil sunshine people, who the Morlocks dominate and maintain like the hypnotic wail of the sirens, to feed upon them in cannibalistic horror.
Elmer Gantry, 7.7. Director, Richard Brooks. A fast-talking travelling salesman with a charming, loquacious manner convinces a sincere evangelist that he can be an effective preacher for her cause. The film's plot overlaps with less than 100 pages of the novel Elmer Gantry, deleting many characters and fundamentally changing the character and actions of female evangelist Sister Sharon Falconer, as played by Simmons. Stars Burt Lancaster, Gene Simmons, and Arthur Kennedy.
Tear those holy wings off you, make a real woman out of you. I'd show you what heaven's like. No golden stairways or harp music or silvery clouds. Just ecstasy. Come. Sin, sin, sin. You're all sinners. You're all doomed to perdition.
The Magnificent Seven, 7.7. Director, John Sturgis. 7 gunfighters are hired by Mexican peasants to liberate their village from oppressive bandits. A critical and commercial success, and has been appraised as one of the greatest films of the Western genre. It spawned 3 sequels, a television series, and a 2016 film remake. Elmer Bernstein's film score was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Score, and is listed on the American Film Institute's list of the top 25 American film scores. Stars Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, and Charles Bronson.
7 magnificent men in one magnificent motion picture.
Spartacus, 7.9. Directors Stanley Kubrick and Anthony Mann. The slave Spartacus survives brutal training as a gladiator and leads a violent revolt against the decadent Roman Republic, as the ambitious Crassus seeks to gain power by crushing the uprising. The film won 4 Academy Awards: Best Supporting Actor for Ustinov, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, and Best Costume Design, from 6 nominations. It also received 6 nominations at the Golden Globes, including Woody Strode's only career Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actor, ultimately winning one, Best Motion Picture, Drama, at the time of the film's release. It was the greatest moneymaker in Universal Studios history, which it remained until it was surpassed by Airport 1970. Stars Kirk Douglas, Laurence Olivier, and Gene Simmons. The Virgin Spring, 8.0. Director Ingmar Bergman. In 14th century Sweden, an innocent yet pampered teenage girl and her family's pregnant and jealous servant set out from their farm to deliver candles to church, but only one returns from events that transpire in the woods along the way. Isaacson and Bergman explore a number of themes in The Virgin Spring, questioning morals, vengeance, and religious beliefs. The rape scene was also subject to controversy and censorship in screenings in the United States. Stars Max von Sydow, Birgitta Valberg, and Gunnel Lindblom. Inherit the Wind, 8.1. Director Stanley Kramer. Based on a real-life case in 1925, 2 great lawyers argue the case for and against a Tennessee science teacher accused of the crime of teaching Darwin's theory of evolution. Inherit the Wind is a parable and fictionalizes the 1925 Scopes monkey trials as a means to discuss McCarthyism, written in response to the chilling effect of the McCarthy-era investigations on intellectual discourse. The film, like the play, is critical of creationism. Stars Spencer Tracy, Frederick March, and Gene Kelly.
You pass on God's orders to the rest of the world. Well, meet the prophet from Nebraska. Is that the way of things? Is that the way of things?
The Apartment, 8.3. Director, Billy Wilder. A Manhattan insurance clerk tries to rise in his company by letting his executives use his apartment for trysts, but office politics and his own romantic hopes complicate matters. The Apartment has come to be regarded as one of the greatest films ever made, appearing in lists by the American Film Institute and the Sight and Sound magazine. In 1994, it was one of the 25 films selected for inclusion to the United States Library of Congress National Film Registry. Stars Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, and Fred McMurray.
Are we dressing for dinner?
You know, just come as you are.
So you're pretty good with that racket.
You should see my backhand. Where'd you see me serve the meatballs?
Psycho, 8.5. Director, Alfred Hitchcock. A secretary on the run for embezzlement takes refuge at a secluded California motel owned by a repressed man and his overbearing mother. Often ranked among the greatest films of all time, it set a new level of acceptability for violence, deviant behavior and sexuality in American films, and has been considered to be one of the earliest examples of the slasher film genre. Stars Anthony Perkins, Janet Leigh, and Vera Miles.
Am I acting as if there's something wrong?
She's not missing so much as she's run away.
Put me down! Mother! Oh, God! Mother!
What are you running away from?
She looked like a wrong one to you?
If you like this video, make sure you hit the notification button so you will see my new videos as they come up. Take a look at my channel to see my many other videos. The link is in the description. Check out my Facebook page as well. I appreciate likes and subscribers. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.